So if I want to add a benchmark to OpenStreetMap, first of all, I go to look at the old maps that show the benchmarks. So I go to map.geohive.ie/mapviewer.html and type in the name of the place I want to check out. So in this case, that was Castle Warren. And on GeoHive, you have loads and loads of maps to choose from. There are a couple of historical ones. The only ones that work for benchmarks are the historic map 25-inch and the 6-inch Cassini. The 25-inch map has a better resolution, so I usually check that first. So you zoom in until you see the benchmarks. There are those little arrows, and it says BM 708.9, that's the height above sea level. So you see on this road there's quite a few. And I then transfer the locations of those as best as I can onto my map that I use for going out to actually hunt, or I don't know, find those benchmarks then in the field, as they say. So this one on umap.openstreetmap.fr, you can log in with your OpenStreetMap account. And again, so these are the ones, the blue ones are the ones I've already found. And I put in the size, so I measured them in inches and put in which maps show them. So in this case, the Cassini map. The pink ones I still have to check out. Sometimes they're not really accessible, so it'll take me a while to find them. So I've already put those locations on my map, the pink ones. It is quite tricky at times to find the exact location. You can use hedgerows, buildings. Sometimes, like the second from the left or third from the left, you see it's in a bend. So sometimes the surveyors back in the day used bends to put the original benchmarks in because they knew you would find them easier, or someone would find them easier to check out the location. So there are quite a few along that road. This is a screenshot of my phone, so the one on the bridge was actually the only one we found, and only because Peter went down into the stream. And it was about a meter and a half above the stream level, so quite risky. And he measured it and he took a picture. Then I go back to OpenStreetMap, and again go to the place that I want to add the benchmark in, so Castle Warren. Zoom in onto the bridge, because as I said, all the other benchmarks were gone. Partly the walls were collapsed, sometimes they're rendered over or other reasons, but this one was still there. So click edit, and it takes an awful long time to load the satellite view. And it's material from Bing, so Microsoft, which is usually better resolution than Google Maps, the satellite view. So I zoom in as close as I can and put in the point or the node in OpenStreetMap talk where it was, and then I add all the characteristics. So as name I usually put in OS benchmark for Ordnance Survey benchmark. The man-made survey point, because that's what it is, it's a survey point. And I always put in benchmark equals yes, because that's what I need later to harvest the OpenStreetMap. And then as source, I put in survey if I have been there, or if one of my friends has been there and sent me a picture. And then the Ordnance Survey maps that I use to find out where they should be. And then the dimensions, so width and height in inches. I just thought that might be interesting at some point to see how the sizes differ. And then the survey date is the date that I was there, or that my friend took the picture of that location, just so we know when it was last seen, basically, because they are vanishing. and then you save, or I save, with a brief description of what I added. And then sometimes I would put in a note to say something about the accessibility, whether it is accessible or not, or where to exactly find it. So which I had forgotten in this case, but I went in and just added that note. Probably should have put in stream instead of river, but yeah. You'll see what it is when you get there. And then, of course, save again. Then, because the benchmarks aren't really shown on OpenStreetMap because they're so tiny and that there's really more important things that you have to show, you can use Overpass Turbo to kind of harvest or mine the map. And I had prepared that query already, which is, I just have to, the example they give is drinking water in Rome, which can be handy, not for me. So go and zoom to Ireland, and what I'm looking for, the search area is Ireland, and I'm only looking for nodes that have been marked benchmark equals yes. And so far I'm the only person using this one. So all the ones that show here are the ones I put on the map. So you can see there are loads and loads in Kilkenny. Well, let's zoom in onto Castle Warren, and you see all the information I put in on OpenStreetMap are being harvested here, or being shown. But if I want to show someone a map of all the benchmarks, it's not really nice to send them the link to the Overpass Turbo. So I prepared a different map, yet another one. And you can export the data in different formats. I use the OSM data. Go back into umap, but this time a different custom-made map. This one, historically interesting things on OpenStreetMap, where I have all my benchmarks and also water pumps that I find interesting to map. So the blue dots are the water pumps and the grey dots because they're chiseled in stone, it's grey. The grey ones are the benchmarks. So I paste the source code or whatever you want to call it in there, choose the right layer to import it in, click dynamic content, I think it is in English, and then import. And I had already imported this, so that's why you don't see any changes. Then you save and disable the editing mode. I think that's probably what that's called in English. Oh, so there's loads and loads of data, as we've seen before, that you don't want to have displayed like benchmark equals yes. Yeah, obviously. So that you don't need that as displayed. So I only chose survey date, dimensions, and notes. So these are all the data I put in onto OpenStreetMap, and they add an ID as well. But a lot of the information you don't need. So, oh yeah, the source, of course. Source, dimensions, survey date, and notes. That's all I wanted to have displayed, and I do. So sometimes the notes thing will be empty because I don't have a note for every benchmark. Yeah, and just zooming out here to show you a different example in Kilkenny. So this one is on the Johnswell Road, the bridge over the Pocock River. See, it doesn't have notes, but it has all the dimensions and the sources. Yeah, and that's basically it. Thanks for watching.